All right, this was a fun one. This is 20VC. It was requested by a customer, but I'm aware of this podcast and the person and the host. And it was cool, and because what they do is, and I've seen this trend with websites, is first they have the featured episode actually isn't featured; it's just the most recent. And I'm seeing this pattern and working on some a way to do this with Podpage really easily. They kind of have like five different podcasts. They might actually, I think these are the same feed, but I don't know. But so they have like these different categories. Podpage doesn't have this, but it's a really cool idea that I want to add for the future. Um, and they spend a lot of time with artwork, and that's was the hardest part of this challenge was the artwork because when I say artwork, I mean podcast episode artwork. Like they actually do it in the feed, and you'll see that, but they don't on their website. They just have like plain images, and so if the goal of these design challenges is to kind of get close and without doing hours and hours of work. If I wanted to do hours and hours of work, I could have gone and downloaded all these images and then uploaded them to Podpage, and then this would look really, really close. But these are supposed to be 15 to 30-minute design challenges, and so I chose to not do that. But it's cool the way that they lay it out. It's cool that they have like links on this homepage directly to the different platforms. Because actually, when you click it, it takes you in sometimes I've seen these in some platforms where when you click it, it actually just takes you to YouTube. And I'm doing a design challenge where they do that later, which is again interesting. Like just get people to where you want to get them and don't have an episode page on your website. I don't agree with that from an SEO perspective, but I think it's good. It's a pattern that I'm seeing. Anyway, so pretty cool. Here's the pod page version. So let's look at theirs. They've got the big featured episode. They have um, these horizontal, sort of like the square landscape type images, and then they just have links to the different players. So it's a pretty basic website. Here's the pod page version. So you can see the biggest difference is going to be these big images. And um, well, there's a few things. First, the big images, meaning like they're square, not horizontal. And that's because these are coming from the feed. Two, the title they put into the feed is crazy. It's just so much text. And on their page, obviously, it's a little bit more concise. And so, obviously, again, the person who would actually build this website would probably go through and do a little bit more work in cleaning this up. We just used what they had. But besides that, structurally, it feels a lot similar, right? I do think the horizontal images would look better for these, but and I think you can also go through and you could match the videos on YouTube and use those thumbnails. But those thumbnails, I even looked at them. They're just a little bit. They're not as clean as what they have on their website. But overall, I feel like this was a pretty good one. Let's look at it side by side. So again, you can see there's like on their site. There's just less text because they did all the editing and the images are different, but structurally similar. So happy with how this one turned out. And I feel like with a little bit more time, with a few more hours, you could probably get this really close. You can see the fonts are a little different because they use their own font. We'd need to upload that. You clean up the text, you add the episode images, and you're kind of there. So I thought this was a good one. Enjoyed it.